Welcome back to Who's Behind the Desk. I'm very excited about this one. Natalia.
Yes,
Yes,
Natalia.
I'm going to let you introduce yourself with your surname because I'm not going to try.
Nobody can do that.
Is joining us today for two reasons. I'm very excited to do this, and I wanted to do this podcast with you for two reasons. The first is because you've been a member in and out of Cape Town office now for
6 years.
6 years.
More than 6 years, yes.
That's amazing, right?
I know.
And the second part is Natalia put out a little post on LinkedIn a couple of weeks ago. Was that 3 weeks ago?
I think even more than that, but yeah, that was around that time.
And I didn't even think it was that controversial at the time, but the thing went viral. So we're going to talk about that. And
I don't even know why.
Spoiler alert, it's about AI. Yeah. Welcome, Natalia. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Liz. My name is Natalia Chrzanowska.
Chrzanowska,
that's how you pronounce it. I work within marketing space, brand marketing, digital strategy. I work with mostly B2B brands.
Okay.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to actually introduce myself in terms of like what's my professional role because it's like I wear many hats. And
okay. What's on the email signature?
I don't even have an email signature.
Of course you do. I mean, when you email people, what's on? Just your name?
Yeah, just my name.
And the company name?
I don't have a company now. Yeah, okay. It's just I'm a freelancer, solo, one-woman show.
For how long now?
For a year, for more than a year now. It's actually 3 years with a little break when I joined another company as a content marketing manager.
So before we get to that, so 6 years ago, you didn't arrive in Cape Town 6 years ago, though.
It was a little bit more than 6 years.
Okay. Yeah. Via Warsaw.
So I flew through Istanbul.
As you could in those days. Not sure about today.
I mean, I think Istanbul is still possible to fly through.
Well, I think they're very busy given that nobody can fly via Dubai or
Qatar.
Do you know anybody that's been stranded?
Actually, no. But I met a couple of, there was a friend of mine actually from high school that I haven't seen in like 15 years. And he visited just before the war started and they got stranded here because they couldn't fly through Dubai.
Yeah.
Their initial plan was to stay actually 3 days in Dubai. So they got stuck here. And it's like, actually, you were lucky that the war started when you were still here and not when you were like doing your holiday. Yeah. That's very...
It's like the news is always almost 2 degrees removed or 6 degrees or whatever it is, right? And then it happens, it's kind of like COVID, which, fond memories. Anyway, we were watching that stuff on the big screen from about January that year. And sort of on CNN or whatever it was, we were seeing the footage of people in Spain and it was carnage and it was carnage in Italy. But we were thinking like, it's never going to come here. Nah.
I still remember until this day, and I was sitting in the office, and I was, I think, speaking to Dave.
Yes.
And then we were just
in last year, I think.
And we were just like, both, we're so lucky to be here, so far away from everything. And then I think it was like another week or two, and it was.
And there was Julie from America at the time; she was here, and then there was Madeline.
Madeline, yes.
And I think Madeline, that was a bizarre thing. Madeline walks in and seemingly Madeline's parents, if you're listening, Madeline, I'm going to ping you. I'm going to tag you in this. So Madeline walked in and said her parents aren't, they're from Texas, I think, if I remember this correctly, but they're preppers. They're not quite preppers, but they're survivalists, right?
Yes.
And so when lockdown announcement came, she made a very quick and firm decision. I'm staying here. I'm not going anywhere. And then I think 3 days literally before lockdown, she was like,
changed.
well, yeah, she walked in here with a box of supplies.
Yeah, she was like, guys, do you want
the hot chocolate?
There's a yoga mat. There's this like, do you want anything? Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That was like 7 years ago now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but how long, sorry. So you arrived about a year before that?
No, not like 4 months earlier. I think it was end of 2019.
So that was right at the start of your Cape Town journey.
Yes. Yeah.
And no regrets, right?
No regrets because I found my home, I found my friends. I just like settled here, and then I'm very lucky to be here. I've got a very nice life.
Yeah. I mean, it's not about, given what we know, what's happening in the Middle East right now and what's happening in Ukraine. And
yes,
this is a good spot to be. Very good spot. Okay. So, because I remember you were working for a company, remind me what they were called again?
No.
Yes, you were working for NetGuru, same role, same kind of job?
Pretty much same role. I mean, like I started as a content writer and it's just kind of evolved like to having my own team and then I stepped down, B2B. then I took over like a big project as a creative producer. It was massive. I was like, actually, this is one of the things that I'm still the most proud of. And it was quite cool. We were.
Are you able to tell us who the client was or what the work
No,
was?
no, no. The client was NetGuru.
Oh, I
So
see.
it's a bit like you
Okay.
can see it online. We published 10 stories about people who created the foundations of like technology that we know today.
Oh,
The whole
wow.
idea was that because right now like we wouldn't have this podcast if not all the microphones. Like we wouldn't be able to record a video, wouldn't be able to like compress the video to like stream it online.
Yep.
So there's all the different little things that were built for us to have this like comfortable, beautiful life and be able to share the stories. During the pandemic, we were able to like, video call with people from overseas. So all of those things were built by people, not like Steve Jobs and all the, big names that are on the covers of the magazines, but people who are, like software developers, designers,
Of
like people who are
course.
like really like real innovators. So we found these people with a cooperation of an American author, and we wrote 10 stories about like their profiles.
That's
Like,
amazing. I didn't even
yeah,
know that.
no, it's like
Okay.
it was quite cool. We launched in New York, invited one of the Radia Perelman, who was one of you can't really pinpoint one person that created the internet, but she was one of the people who created a protocol that made the internet possible. So I met her. She's like 80 right now. She's 80 something,
That's
but at the time she was
crazy.
like 80. Her brain, she was trying to explain things to me, and I'm just like, I don't know like it's really, it's fascinating, but it's just like it's just a different realm.
Yeah. Isn't that
Uh,
amazing?
yeah.
I mean, it's true to say, like the timing of lockdown and everybody having to move remote. Thank God for the technology. Can you imagine the chaos if it weren't,
Yeah.
like Zoom? I think everybody was Zooming at the time, or using Zoom as a platform.
Yes. I think, yeah, like I mean, like right now it's even difficult for me to like go back to those times and imagine that we're capable of like living in like secluded. We're not able to go out, but
Yeah,
then, yeah,
that was
technology made it
nuts.
easier. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm intrigued to understand better what you measure as I can understand why you're so proud of that campaign, but
Mm.
why was it deemed a success? What is the measure?
I mean, the measure was like the reach. We like, yeah, there were like millions of people that reached worldwide. There was a lot of like great PR that we created for the brand. Um, because the industry went through a crisis 2 years later, like the company had to shut down the project, but the kind of our goal was to like create like something that we could do every year, year in, year out, and create like a separate to the brand or like attached to the
I
brand project that
see.
would be like more of a branding project than something that would just like be focused on
So,
like bringing the clients in.
and those
um
campaigns would be shining a spotlight on the sort of unsung heroes of the
Exactly.
technology
Yeah.
that we use every day,
Exactly.
but we have no idea where
Yeah.
who.
And crazy stories. There's just like
Yeah.
there's a guy that invented cookies.
Okay.
We actually did like another interview with him afterwards
I
online.
mean, I'm not
And
sure we want to thank him,
no, I mean
but I get
we
it. I get
don't.
it. From a marketing point of view, I
Uh,
understand. I understand.
from a marketing point of view, but no, but he had nothing to do with advertising. The whole idea of cookie was just like you go to a browser. Let's say you go to an online shop,
Sure.
and then you put something to the cart, and then you refresh the website. So without the cookie,
It would be gone.
that would be gone.
Exactly.
So it
No, I get
created
that.
like an online identity.
Yes.
And then the advertisers just like, oh wow, why don't we
Someone
just
tried
like
to.
play with it?
Someone
And
explained it in a very literal sense to me the one time, or to a group of people. I can't remember where I was. Said, imagine it if you try and imagine people walking into a physical shop. Could be
yes,
any shop, right? Someone walking in, and for every person that comes in, you put a post-it on their back.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
So now they leave that shop, and then they go into the next shop, and then that shop puts a post-it on their back.
yes,
And then the minute they come back to that same shop, that there's a sort of a trigger, a recognition. Oh, you've got that post-it. I know you.
So you've been here
Yeah,
before,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
can just like show you more stuff that I'm
Yes.
selling. Yeah,
And more specific stuff to what you've been looking at. Do you know what I mean? Like it's way more targeted than what it
mm,
used to be.
yeah,
It's not as
especially
clunky.
now.
Yeah, right.
I mean, there's like in general, there is a lot of things that I see online that they just like crap. Just like there's no value. We produce more. There's less attention,
Yeah.
and it's just very hard to find yourself in that noise.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's a negative thing, because like right now the people and the brands and companies that can actually just create something more authentic, something more is consistent, bring more value, they are gonna extend out from that noise.
I quite agree.
Yeah.
I love AI. I really do. I'm very excited by it. I'm very excited for as a small business owner myself and as an entrepreneur, having the access to those tools that are affordable but B accessible and pretty easy to learn. It's been a game changer for me.
Because like before, you had to like hire all the different people,
Of
and then
course.
specialists and consultant. Right now, you still, if you want to do something more specific, like you can create a simple website without anybody, you know. But if you want to do something more specific, but like right now, it just gives you tools to prototype, experiment, like bounce off the ideas. Or
but I agree with you that the noise out there, what do they call it? AI slop, right?
Yes.
So like it's like AI is just now talking to more AI that's talking to more AI that's kind of talking to more, and it's just like
what's the point?
You know, you guys are just talking amongst yourselves. We're just gonna go for a beer with real people and let you just talk amongst yourselves on LinkedIn and Facebook and whatever platform you wanna. Because that's kind of what it feels like sometimes. If you had to sort of visualize it, it's AI talking to AI right now, and to a large degree. But my gut feeling, certainly, and I hope to see it this year, is that there's a progressive movement of people that either naturally or subconsciously stumble upon or gravitate towards authentic content made by people.
Yeah. And I did actually write a post about this, because it was about how people just like right now, oh, that was written by AI. It's like there's no value in it. But before AI, from the content writer,
somebody told you.
No, there's a lot of people actually writing about it. It's like, oh no, like that's AI. That like there's no value. Before AI, we had ghostwriters in the space of writing.
Of course.
So and nobody would say like, oh no, like that person didn't write that. But this is like, as long as you still have something interesting and valuable to say, like there's nothing wrong with you using somebody else who can write better, or who can transform your thoughts into like a really nice, engaging story.
Right.
And publish it. Like what's wrong? And right now you don't have to use the ghostwriter. You can use AI.
I never thought of it that way, and that's such a brilliant observation, because it's true. No celebrity. I mean, do you think that these celebrities, like Jack Nicholson, do you think he's an author?
I don't know about Jack Nicholson, but I can just I can tell you so many people like from my network that like I know who wrote those posts, or like I wrote some of those posts, and then just I know that this is the reality, because like, and there's nothing wrong with that, because those people they work in a different like department. Their goals are different. They're busy, and then
their skill is writing.
Yes, and then no, like people who are, let's say, like CEO of a company, like they don't really
get you.
They don't have the time. Sometimes they don't have a skill, and then and they want to like put those things out there, and it's one of the tools to just get the people.
They've got something to say. Yeah.
So.
Oh, I like that. I like that very much. I'm going to use that from now on, if you don't mind. I think because that's been the thing. So ages ago, I had this podcast. I did a podcast with Mark Risk, and as you know, he's a storyboard artist, and we were talking about AI and all the rest of it. And the question came up, it's like, yeah, but if an AI written book lands on the New York Times bestsellers list, how is that right? I said, well, I mean, I don't know if it's as binary as right or wrong. The bigger question is, did people enjoy it, and did enough people read it in order to push it to the top 10 of the New York Times bestsellers list? It's kind of like saying J.K. Rowling, who wrote all the Harry Potters, is no Shakespeare. But there's no arguing in the fact that people, when she launched those books, these kids, 12-year-olds, were queuing for days to get their hands on a copy and reading again, and often for the first time, and a lot of people reading for the first time in ages. Do you know what I mean? She's no Shakespeare.
Yeah, I think there is space and time for all of this to coexist. It is a little bit like, especially if it's a book. People have a tendency, but it's not real.
So
but
you find, I want to go back to what you were saying about online comments. So there's an active, there's engagement from people saying, pointing out that's bullshit, that's AI.
Yes.
And then
not bullshit, not bullshit, that's AI, but it's very like there is a lot of, I mean, in general, I feel like LinkedIn has a sort of tendency to show you similar content. So I've been going through like similar posts, people complaining, like people just writing posts and complaining about how it's like there's a lot of AI slop and people not writing the post, but AI
And who
is
are these
writing.
people? Are these people like
Mostly writers? A lot of writers.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then how do you respond to that? I mean, how can you respond to that?
I just don't
really?
engage.
You don't block them, right? But you just kind of like
No.
just ignore them and like see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that on other platforms, X is a big one, obviously, but Meta too. Like, I don't even know if it's a real person I'm engaging with.
That's exactly the thing. And I've seen posts kind of there was like this one woman who wrote it wasn't actually a woman, it was just AI, like a character created by AI, profit created by AI. Don't remember exactly what
On
it was about. That
LinkedIn?
thing, yes, it was on LinkedIn, and it was just some sort of like she was looking for a job or something, but it was this massive drama, and people were just commenting and commenting and commenting, and it turned out that it's not real. The story wasn't real.
So it was wow. So it was a deliberate spoof to put it out on LinkedIn to see how far it would get?
Yes. So
wow. How long ago was that?
Maybe like 6 months ago.
And who's did they publish a story on this? Did somebody
No,
was it
I
a
just saw it.
journalist
No,
that
I
sort
just
of
saw it like a post.
because that's an interesting story.
Yeah, I will try to find it.
Please.
Yeah.
So okay, so they created it was an AI because you know that last year, right? In the States there was a talent management. I don't know if it was a company or just a dude, but anyway, so he manages talent, musicians, actresses, actors, and they took it to court because they were trying to get an AI persona recognized as a actor in order for them to be able to book said AI. I didn't even know what to call it. Is it an avatar? Is it a whatever? So that on commercials and whatever else that it would be. So it's just shy of giving this AI entity persona, whatever, a green card.
Yeah.
So that
It's
they
like
could
Black Mirror now.
well, a little bit, that happened last year.
Yeah.
And then Denmark last year, and I've mentioned this on this part, but Denmark last year, and I thought it was a pretty good move, encouraged all of its citizens last year to register themselves, to trademark themselves, both their voices as well as their faces. So that was the government of Denmark that did that. Because it is now at a point in time, luckily I have a very forgettable voice, I don't really care. But it's like if you were a Morgan Freeman or a whoever else, and you had a super recognizable, it's one of those things that, okay, use it, but then pay me.
Because like right now that intellectual property goes further, because like it used to be your art or used to be like your what you can produce, and now it's just like because and after you die your whatever you produce, like like somebody owns the rights to it, but like right now you can like just create a virtual copy of you,
well, that's
and then
that's
benefit from that
question.
who should benefit from that? The person, the family, or like
and that's the question. And so it's very complicated. I'm not
definitely not
I disillusioned, but it's complicated. It's very complicated. Let me not stumble over my words anymore. Okay, so you've now freelanced for a year, you said, and
Yes.
how's that going?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm actually happy. I think like because of I don't know, I just get bored easily, and then throughout all my different roles, I was able to do different things, and I think like right now because I can just do different projects with different clients. It just allows me a little bit more of like bounce off different things.
And it was NetGuru that you left. Or it was
Yes, NetGuru.
Okay.
Yeah, and then after that, I had I worked for another company for a year.
Like a contract, just a freelance position?
No, it was a full-time position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Similar role, similar kind of
Similar
vibe.
role, yes.
Yeah.
Similar company.
And you never had to do, because now one of the biggest things that you have to do as a freelancer is go and hunt for new business, right?
Yeah, and I actually never really, I don't know, I'm just very lucky with the network. And every
that's
time
the
I
gold
would
dust of any
left, it was just like people would just come to me and
referrals.
thank you every single bit.
Yeah, because that is one of the biggest things is sort of stepping into that role. But if you think about it, though, everything you do is part of a sales.
No, 100%.
Right?
And you still, even when people come to you, you still need to just like convince them like you will bring the value. But I never had to do like a whole kind of pipeline, trying to just
from cold.
For the clients. I did,
Interesting.
which I don't believe really in cold outreach.
I mean, cold outreach is it's numbers, right? You've got to hit an enormous volume because your conversion ratio is so small, 1 in 3% or 1 to 5% if you're lucky.
So it's the numbers game. But I do believe that especially in B2B, it's mostly about the relationships, and it's like it's not like you're gonna send one email and then gonna come to you, okay, cool, like I'm gonna buy. You can be lucky because they may be like the right
place,
timing,
right time.
They're actually looking for the vendor, and then like you
And
just
then
outreached in literally when they were just like searching.
exactly. And straight after that meeting, you need to go buy a lottery ticket because you're lucky that day. That hardly ever fucking happens.
Yes.
So when it does,
but it's like you have to just like create this multiple touch points, and it's all about like creating things that people will come to you, and then it doesn't have to be next sales. They will come to you to read your newsletter. They will come to you, I don't know, listen to your podcast, and then create multiple touch points so they can just see that like you bring the value. You are an expert in the field. You have some social proof because you have done those things before, and only then, like after some time, after just many conversations, like when the time comes right, they will come to you and they will buy from you.
So what would you say to any small business brand, business owner, small business and or brand? What would you recommend are the 3 things they need to be doing in terms of outreach?
I mean, invest in relationships. I mean,
mention newsletters, right?
Very cliche, but like provide value. Just like first bring something for the people to actually just like trying to understand what they're looking for and be helpful. Yeah, 2 things.
There's 2 things. I need 3. No, I mean newsletters. You do that quite a lot, right?
Yes.
And do you do them on a specific platform, or do you just incorporate it as part of the CRMs?
Depends on the client, what they are using, what I'm using. HubSpot is a big thing.
HubSpot is so big.
It is big, but
and it's very complicated and expensive. Frankly.
No, it is definitely expensive, and I think it's just there is definitely like a higher threshold. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't recommend it for small businesses.
No, me neither. I would think things like Pipedrive and
definitely. Because the good thing about it is like once you have everything in, you have everything in, and then you can just like create those campaigns that connect with each other. At NetGuru, we used it as a CRM, as a CMS, so everything was published to HubSpot. So it was very convenient because we could see all the analytics and the emails, and it was all connected. Whereas very often you just have like, okay, you send emails to this tool, you have CRM and HubSpot, you have this. So
yeah, hard work. And so leaving the comfort of a team and being by yourself, have you found it a challenge to sort of adjust to those little roles? Or
I do work quite closely with the team, like my clients team. So it's still, but because I've always
and they're based in Warsaw, right?
In Poland, yeah. One is in Warsaw, and another one client is in Krakow. Because even when I was working with NetGuru, that was like, I mean, it was remote first, and I would always be on the road. I would always travel. So I never, as much as when I was with the team, when I was in Poland, like I would always like try as much as I could just like integrate and like spend the time with my team. But most of the time it was like the same setup when I'm just working in front of my laptop in co-working space. So
I mean, that's what it is, right? You just kind of like delivering and getting through it. I think, it's one of those 2 things that, speaking to a friend of mine the other day, he started off as a freelancer, doing this for different clients. And then he joined a relatively big agency that both did digital as well as offline stuff. And he was just like, oh my God, this is like Christmas every day. And the reason why he said it was because he no longer had to do everything. If there was a specialist thing, let's say there was a video component or a fucking whatever, he could just, and farm it out and give them a deadline, and then it would come back and sort of that. So it's interesting that you've taken to it so well.
No, but I still do. I don't do everything. That's and I've got help of AI.
So talk to me about AI. What is your go-to LLM? What is your go-to sort of?
Obviously, right now, Claude. I have to fire off first.
Well, you say obviously, and I'll tell you why. I've been how should I put it? I've been engaging with Gemini for the last week.
Okay.
I don't know, man. It's like there's a thing in me. Everybody says Claude. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do what you do. So I know that Claude is far superior. I get that. But I didn't realize how bad Gemini was until I started using it this last week.
Really?
Fuck,
Okay.
it's terrible.
Okay. Because like actually ChatGPT started annoying me, but the reason why I would postpone it for such a long time was because you have to like transfer everything and it's already got the knowledge and then all the projects are open. So you have to just like get this thing and just put it into another tool. So that's what's just like,
Oh, no, I get
it's
that.
work.
No, it is work, but
Um,
I mean, I've done that. I went to ChatGPT and I did that whole thing. Anyway, but I digress. But the accuracy or lack thereof, Gemini just lies. It has
Is
these
it?
little hallucinations. It goes off on a fucking, and I'm like, really?
Interesting with and it's actually I'm very resistant to actually just move forward with those tools because like I was actually news from today I read. I don't know how long ago they released that, but right now Claude actually can install it on computer, only on Macs, and it can use your computer. Like it can literally just like you can text it on the app while you are
Yeah,
away, and then it can just tell them to go to Chrome or like
yeah.
another browser, open the website, and then check something for you or write a post, like perform the task. And I'm just like, how much more access are we
Yeah, all
willing
of it.
to give to
All of
the
it, right?
AI?
Andre was telling me about Claw.
Yeah.
I think it's Claw, which essentially acts as your virtual assistant fully. But in order for it to do so, obviously needs access to your
Yes.
calendar, to your emails, to whatever else. And so you can, you put things in your diary or tasks, and then Claw will just go in there and just go pull out the tasks that it think, oh, this is a right, I can do that. This is and just tick, 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 email, tick, 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 create post, schedule. And yeah, so that already exists. To what accuracy level, I have no idea, but that does already exist.
No, fully all the AI agents. And then the only thing is just like, it's one thing when it's your personal. Another layer is just like, if you use it like within the company enterprise, how much actually data is like so sensitive.
Well,
And
I think there's some massive security implications. There must
yeah.
be, but we digress. What I really want to, because there's an ethical, what you've just touched on is kind of like a fear factor, which I think a lot of people justifiably have. But there was an ethical reason why you chose to leave ChatGPT, right? And then you created this post. So tell us what happened.
Okay, and then okay, so what happened was I actually I came back from a weekend away when
As
I
you do.
didn't have any like connection to internet, and then I go back to this a message from a friend of mine who actually work closely together, and then there was a interview with Sam Altman saying that he was just comparing how much energy it takes to train an AI to how much energy takes to train a human, how much food they have to consume until they're 20, so they can also perform similar tasks.
Who was doing
And
the interview? Do you remember?
I don't know, it was one of the conferences. But and it's not like I'm not really that delusional that he wasn't the same person before, because there were interviews with him like when he was like
Right.
he's very much like focused on like creating this like perfect algorithm, and like
I think
he
it's
does
fair
I
to say
don't
he's on the spectrum.
yeah, I don't believe that he has a lot of like ethical, and he used to have more ethical like concerns before. But that really triggered me because I just came back from this like beautiful world when there's no AI, no digital, no phone, no internet, and I'm just like, okay, right now, me as a human being
This
being
is an issue.
compared to uh to training AI. So like how like I think like we lost like I just felt like we lost the plot. Like the whole idea of technology was just to make our life easier. And right now we're just taking like going to direction where we're like putting technology on top of the humans. And then so I just wrote this post that I'm actually just gonna cancel my subscription, and then I'm just gonna move away. And I know that it's not that Claude is way better in like ethical.
So had the Anthropic thing with the Department of Defense in the US happened already at that stage?
That
Or?
was like a couple of days after. So I know that they also, there's, I
There are
mean,
things.
they're all bad in many ways, but at the same time, like, I'm using a lot of the things like in my day to day life that just, like it can't be black and white. Anyways, so I just wrote this post about how I'm just outraged about this interview, and then like I'm just gonna cancel my subscription. And the post went viral. I don't know why, because a lot of people were writing about this, about canceling, and then just like they don't agree with what he's saying, and then there was a whole kind of movement.
So,
Switch
so that
GPT.
so that interview at the conference had been seen by a lot of people.
I don't think before, because it just happened over the weekend.
I
Yeah,
see.
so it's
Okay,
just like
okay,
it was like the first thing on like Monday morning.
okay.
Um, but I somehow LinkedIn just picked it up, and then I was just the whole Monday I was like busy replying to the comments. Yeah,
And how much of those were kind of hateful versus? I mean, I didn't go through all of them. I saw the
yeah,
post, obviously, which led
yes.
to
To be honest,
this
to the
post.
post
But
were like a lot of people just agreeing with the fact that they just don't really believe they also gonna cancel. Some of the
yeah,
people were just saying like, "But he's right," and I'm just okay. But it was only like very like civil discussion. There was no like hateful comments either way.
no, I mean, I think his assessment might be correct. Who cares? It's the fact is you can't break it down to that
Yes,
level of simplicity.
yeah.
You're talking about human beings, for God's sake.
And it's just like, what? So right now, like, you're not gonna feed me. You're not gonna produce food for humans because it's like
That really feels
inefficient.
dystopian, right?
Inefficient because it like takes less energy to actually train AI.
That's
Mm,
dark. That's so dark. That is Black Mirror, to your
it
point.
is Black Mirror.
I think the Sam Altman thing is interesting, and I do think that it's a particular. I think they're all Zuckerberg, Altman.
Mm,
You know, they're all on the spectrum somehow. There's almost a disassociation on basic social skills. I observe, and I am no expert. I
mm,
put my hand up. I'm certainly no expert, but on an empathy slash socially connected
mm-hmm.
level, I don't feel that there's a lot coming from the tech, and the tech is fantastic. And the really painful thing right now is that we've been given access to all these amazing, fantastic tools, which is in some places transformed our businesses, in some places created a business. However, it's the ethical kind of dilemma that
Yes.
that we also have to contend with. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mm.
you can't, yeah, and that's the thing that's certainly AI didn't create. It's been around for a long time.
And it's been the same with the whole, like I'm young enough to not remember that well, but that was the same thing when the internet came in. And there was just a lot of those ways where it's like, okay, the technology is going to take our jobs and take away our
Yeah, yeah.
existence.
In the same way that industrialization took away a
Yes.
lot of people's jobs. Sure. I mean, that's progress. But
Mm.
I do think it's an interesting idea to challenge yourself in the way that Scott Galloway did with Resist and
Yes.
Unsubscribe, where you genuinely do tussle and struggle with that battle to say, look, if I cancel ChatGPT, which I could, or Netflix, or Amazon Prime, or Disney, whatever it is, I could do that. But then what am I going to watch? But
No,
then
that's the
who's gonna?
thing. And like, and we do have alternatives. I don't know if there was ChatGPT was the only thing. I don't know if I would do the same thing. I read a post about a similar thing. I think it was just like Substack. The guy wrote about why people do it because there is not enough friction for you to make that alternative. And it's people are driven by this beautiful ethical purpose, but like at the same time they do it because they
Yeah,
can.
Jimmy Kimmel
Yeah.
caused the friction enough for Disney in there. You know about the Jimmy Kimmel thing? No. So he's an
No. I
American.
know Jimmy Kimmel, but I don't know what's the.
So he said some things about Charlie Kirk, and they weren't even derogatory. They
Mm,
really weren't. He said some things on his show about Charlie Kirk. Next day, Disney fires him. Then there's this massive campaign.
mm,
It obviously ruffled a lot of people, and it caused enough friction for tens of thousands of people to cancel their Disney
yes.
subscription. And a week later, Jimmy Kimmel's given his job back.
So you can, yeah.
So that's, to your point, if there's enough friction, it motivates the change, right?
Mm.
So the Sam Altman friction was that for you from the conference. For me, it was the Department of Defense thing in the United States
Yeah, that was the next thing.
because Anthropic said no, AI is too unstable. It's not there. It's really irresponsible and quite dangerous to give AI access to these things. So, no, you may not use Anthropic as mass surveillance and all the rest of it, right? And so he walked away, and Sam Altman said, "Oh, We'll
do that.
pick me.
Oh.
So that was my motivation to leave anyway.
So now you're using ChatGPT now.
No more, no. So now Gemini and my days with Gemini are numbered. I don't know. I had a name
Just
for
try it.
ChatGPT and everything was Chatty. So I was like, hey, Chatty, how are you?
Mm.
But now it's fucking Gemini and I don't know where to go. But yeah, I have to. I feel that there's a strong pull towards Claude, just from a quality output point of view, because I
The
really don't
quality and
use
what
it
I
that
also
much.
I like is just more of a conversational because like ChatGPT is just a yes man or yes woman, and just like whatever you say, like great idea, wow,
We're gonna take over the
yeah.
world. Are you a South Park
uh,
watcher?
huh?
Do you ever watch South Park?
I haven't. No, I do, but like I haven't seen any like of the recent
It's
episodes.
fantastic. There's
Is
an
it?
entire episode dedicated to ChatGPT and the hallucinations. It's the guy who
I'm gonna give it a go.
oh my god, it's so good. It's the farmer of Tegrity Weed Farms, and business isn't going great. So he uses, and can't remember if they call it ChatGPT or not, but it's AI. And he's brainstorming with his AI, businesses that he's going to start. But the hallucinations also there's no, so by the end of the episode, he thinks that he's basically taking over the world. And then his wife has to remind him, no,
That's not happening.
yeah, but it's a fantastic sort of in-your-face illustration as to that's a fantastic idea.
Would you like me to write a business plan for this?
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, please.
Shall I look for some funding? And it's just like, shut up. Not
Yeah.
everything I say is going to be, it's that incessant need to please you, right?
Whereas what I noticed with Claude, it actually just it asks you follow-up questions, wants to like nail down what you want to achieve. If it's not sure, then it's got to be like, okay, cool. Like, what do you want to do this or that? So it's a little bit more of it doesn't
And
really challenge you that I wouldn't say that, but it definitely brings more of
did you upload your ChatGPT content into Claude
actually
or
I
no?
didn't. No, I started from scratch. Because I
Ah.
thought there was just so much mess there already, and I'm just gonna
Too many hallucinations.
I'm gonna start fresh. Yeah.
I try not to use it too much. I limit my usage to I only ever use it for work.
Mm,
I try and use it mainly for ideation.
yes.
I sometimes use it to check myself because I'm not, firstly, English is not my first language.
Yeah.
And so I use it to check myself just to make sure that my grammar structure is sound or relatively. And sometimes it is also to see, is there a different way that I could say this
Yes.
thing? So I use it a lot for that, yeah. For the most
Similarly,
part,
yeah.
yeah. I haven't used it as a therapist.
Me neither.
Yeah, it's exciting that you've gone out on your own. Sometimes these things happen by choice, and sometimes these things are happening to us because that is the
It
choice.
mostly happened to me, but it was like another blessing in disguise, and I was just
I love that for
yeah.
you. It's so how many clients are you working with at the moment?
Right now 2, yeah.
And it's all digital, online.
Mostly digital online. The clients
Okay.
they do like conferences and stuff, but I'm working with them like as online support.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I think Substack is really good.
It's one of the platforms that I actually wanted to start, not necessarily within marketing, but I just want to start creating my own content there.
So how much of your content is put out in Polish versus English?
Mostly English.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I don't really publish in Polish.
Okay. Did you ever or?
I mean, not really, because I've always worked with companies that were like global first. So we would always, that was just like our like default language. So I never really, except for, I don't know, maybe there was like a Polish conference and I was invited to a Polish podcast and then the content was in Polish. So then like naturally I would write it in Polish, but generally I would publish in English.
But what do you prefer?
English.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
I mean, it's a
I
funny
love
thing, right?
my mother tongue, but it's
No, I get that.
but within that space, there is a lot, especially within like professional space. I do think more in English, and it's quite like I know a lot of Polish people can relate to it. There is a lot of words that are not really translatable, so I throw those like things, and when I talk to my dad, I'm just like saying something, he's just like, "Can you explain?"
Yeah, because
So
I would imagine, especially in a niche market
yeah,
/ business kind of context,
yeah,
those
and
Polish
also like
words
this
just
corporate jargon that they use.
corporate speak, jargon and such. Time and a place, I guess.
Yeah. Hope
Yeah.
that email finds you well.
Have you heard the song? I'm still going to post
No.
a link to it. There's a couple of South African. It's got a strong Afro kind of piano vibe
Okay.
actually, and it's a guy that is entirely subject driven by I know there's an email that hopes to find me well, and the sub chorus is I hope they don't find me.
Exactly.
I'll send it to you and I'll post it on the thing. It's brilliant. It's like a soundtrack for I don't know, not just 2026, definitely 2025 as well, because
Yeah.
emails are
But also like not necessarily corporate jargon, but also like in copywriting, and it actually just shows a lot in the content written by AI. There are a lot of expressions that it's like I can't believe you're just like throwing it out there, like in the fast moving world, like fast paced world, or
that's a big one.
something is, and it's actually like
At
because
this critical juncture.
yeah, something
Really?
is as fast or like as never before,
Yes.
uh,
Yes.
and the funny thing is, I just remember
Is
yes,
somebody putting a list of these
uh,
things together somewhere?
I do actually have a little dictionary to dig up because we started putting those words in our forbidden words when I was still working at NetGuru.
Yeah,
I would send those words to our copywriter because they were
100%.
overusing them, and right now AI is doing the same thing.
Because it's
Yes.
capable of doing is going out there and copying what other
Yeah.
people are doing. And I think on an algorithm level, it sees that as a measure of success.
Yeah.
Surely, no? Well, if they're
And
all
everyone's like, I'm
using
gonna
it, it'd
see it
be
and I'm gonna
good.
crit.
Well,
Yeah.
so is there someone, do you know of a sort of a dictionary out there beyond NetGuru? Or
No. That was my just personal thing that would just put the thing. Yeah.
I think we should create one
Yes.
and
Just
put
a
it out there,
forbidden and it's
publicservice.org.
and you want to write something, use this and like put it into your prompt.
I mean,
You thank me later.
because I'm not a writer at all.
Mm,
But as a small business owner, I've had to learn how to kind of scrape my way through
yes.
and fake my way through writing. And I think I've become better at it as time has gone on, but I'm still, you know, no copywriter, you know. But I can recognize exactly instantly what you said. I mean, everybody went for the long dashes at first.
Which is so stupid because this is what like everyone used. Like
Exactly. I mean,
um,
how else do you introduce a hyphenated slash
mm,
pause slash break in thought?
yeah, M dash.
Do you know? So there is that. I don't know. And I think it's going to be an interesting, and also for music, I think it's going to be an interesting year.
But you're using it for like personal use, just for fun, which is a
Sure.
little bit different. But like a lot of people are making money off AI and creating content based on somebody else's work. But so like, where do you draw the line? Is it like copying it? Because also like the plagiarism was also there, and then you could also be sued for that.
Yeah. It's like trying to establish these are my chords
Yes.
of a particular song, right? It's like so do you know a band called The Verve?
Mm-hmm.
Bittersweet Symphony was their biggest
Yes.
hit. So Richard Ashcroft, who's the lead vocalist, says every time he had to perform that it was their single biggest
Yes.
hit ever. But every time he had to perform that on stage, he wanted to vomit. And the reason for that is because there's a there's a very subtle chord. I think it's the string section
Mm-hmm.
arrangement in that song that actually belongs to the Rolling Stones. And the
Oh,
Rolling Stones sued the Verve.
so just tiny little
And so every
chord.
time Bittersweet Symphony is played on the radio anywhere in the world, the Verve had to pay the Rolling Stones royalties.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So who can claim true originality? I think that's what we're facing as a species, as a creative species at the moment.
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Um, but also with this, because obviously, like everything we create, like as an artist, like everything you create is like you have been inspired to some degree by different works of the different people.
Correct.
But where is it just an inspiration, or where is it just like copying somebody else's
Exactly.
idea? And I know cases like it was actually I did a like brand designer course, and a guy was like quoting an example when they created the whole brand identity, and they didn't they sent it to the client, and then a couple of days later there was another brand that did the same thing, and then so there was no way for them to get inspired by somebody else because they just did it like
Wow.
in parallel. But it's just like you literally just like copied our own brand identity.
Shit.
So So yeah, where do you draw the line? And with AI, it's even more difficult because now you don't even copy something, but you can copy like like the voice or the
Exactly.
feel, and then you can just like create that into infinity. Yeah.
Over and over again. But I mean,
Mm.
that's, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Bittersweet Symphony was in the 90s. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with AI. I think it'll be catchy. I think it's funny and funky. It could be fun, even taking like a Metallica song and turning it into a reggae riff. There's a guy
Yeah.
that does that on TikTok. I love that. So he'll take like Enter Sandman, famous Metallica song, but done as a reggae kind of vibe,
Yes.
And then you're like, oh my god, or some
But there's still like a creative element into that. It's
very
not like
much
I'm just gonna take the voice and I'm gonna release another song that is gonna be made perfect.
yes,
Because like we are in the times when literally just like in all the creative spectrum, we can create things into infinity. Like
couldn't agree
there's
more.
nothing stopping us than the energy. Like
So
yeah.
following that little line of the Metallica, right? So you've
Yes.
taken a Metallica song and what is rock and or hard rock,
Yes.
and you've turned it into
Mm,
reggae. Now someone hears that and he goes, "Fucking hell!" And then he's maybe in a reggae band,
mm.
and he says, "Guys, listen to this," and then they rework that and make it their own. What's wrong with
Yes,
that?
yeah. So like, I don't think
That's great.
and then like people used to do it before AI. Like, yeah.
Exactly. No, no,
So I'm just, yeah,
100%. I love that. And that's the ideation. That's the sort of,
yeah.
let's have fun with it. Let's play with it. Like, thank you so much. I think
Thank you
that's
so
a good
much,
place to
Liz.
do it.
Yeah,
I think I'm going to drop loads of links. And I think, but seriously though, from a branding and a marketing perspective, it's one of the areas that I think, um, especially developers or people that are
mm.
so focused on the product or the service that they forget about the human element of the conversation around that, which is essentially what it is that you
And maybe
do.
just like what I want to touch here, because right now, like, we can create anything, and
Yeah,
then the same comes with the products. And
yeah,
like the whole like software is gonna go through like another crisis because right now anybody like with Lovable and then all the tools like you can create like cloud code, you can create an app to do essentially anything. So like right now the product won't be the value. The value is gonna be like what you can actually create around this
there is a barrier.
intellectual
Yeah.
property,
Yeah,
yeah, and then the brand, because the brands that can actually just like create a story, and it's not a new thing because it's like all the brands like gurus have been saying that for years and years and years. Like the brand is something that's like people come to, people go back to, people stay with,
because of
people
the brand. Yeah,
because of the brand,
yeah.
and it's in the that consumer market, and it's also B2B market.
Do you think that branding or the voice of the brand is just something that takes time, or do you think that comes from the authenticity of the founder?
I mean, it comes from the authenticity, but like it takes time. Like you can't build a brand overnight.
No.
Like you have to. The brand is just all the different elements that build it, and then it's not the color, it's not the typography. It's the qualities, the value it brings. It's just like all the different elements around it,
The stories.
and the stories.
Yeah.
Yes, so it can't just come up like
No, I mean
overnight.
it's fascinating that people still think
Mm.
that, oh, but I'm just going to change my logo and maybe if I go from red to turquoise, that'll be. You're like,
That
dude,
just one decision. That's not a brand.
no, it's
Yeah.
not. No, it's not. Thank you for this.
Thank you so much, Liz, for inviting me.
Pleasure.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
going to drop
very
loads of
nice.
links, including your
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
please
I think
do.
if anybody wants to connect, if they have any
Please
branding
do.
questions,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. Branding questions one last thing, actually, the Substack. Do you have a Substack of your own? Do you write?
not yet. So we're not gonna share it yet.
Do you
uh,
write these sort of?
not right now, not much, no. But I want to do more. I want to do, but more in like in a travel space
I
rather
would love
than
you to because you've
on
you've
marketing.
you've got an enormous
Mm,
amount of knowledge.
thank you.
Yeah, and of course, and but it's true, and that sharing
That's why I started,
community.
yeah,
Hello.
like another digression, but like that's why I started writing on LinkedIn. And very often I would have this like a blockage every time. It's like, why somebody would want to read it? And then actually, there's a lot of things that, they don't even realize how much knowledge you have. So I think like maybe some people shouldn't post as much as they do, but a lot of people actually, I do believe that they share more because they don't even realize. We live in a bubble. We live in our own head thinking
but we're also,
whatever we accumulated over the years, like our knowledge is just like something that we take it for granted, but actually a lot of people don't have that.
Exactly. And market forces will dictate what people gravitate towards and what they don't. And the worst case is that you've written something that 5 people read. That's okay.
It will help one, and that's a success. Thank
Please
you.
like, share, subscribe. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.